From out of the sewers, I rise up. It's me again, Andre the Ninja Turtle, and I'm back with another Azur Lane equipment guide. Before we start the video, I'd like to mention that Kaguya-sama Season 2 has just dropped today, and the new opening is a banger. If you guys want a seasonal anime recommendation, then this is the one. Moving back on topic today, we'll be focusing on the light cruisers. Judging by how my tier list video for this category got so many views, hopefully you guys are ready for the equipment guide for the light cruisers now. And on a side note, the support for these videos has been absolutely insane. I'm honestly super stoked that so many of you guys enjoy my content. Now quickly before I jump in, before someone comments, where's my Lord and Savior number 1? Well, San Diego Retrofit is the biggest exception ever, and she will definitely get the spotlight towards the end of the video. Now with all that out of the way, let's move on to the equipment guide. And as Asba1991 has pointed out in my previous video, I will now sort by light cruisers so that all of them are right here to choose from. Now, the first part of a light cruiser is her main gun. A light cruiser's main gun has faster firing and more consistent damage, but it is less damage per shot. Now the overall best choice for most light cruisers is the 150. It is the prototype triple 152mm main gun, but most of the time though, since most people will not have this gun as it takes a long time to build from research, the next best option is the purple twin 150mm main gun TBTSK, also known as the Cleveland gun, Tabasco, whatever the heck you want to call it, there you go. It has the highest theoretical DPS, beating the Belfast gun slightly, the Belfast gun being this one right here. And moving back to here, it has AP ammo, which lets the shots penetrate through targets. It's very accurate. The light cruisers have a very nice AP damage multiplier, so that this gun is a very realistic equipment goal for most light cruisers. It's very easily accessible because it is purple. Very versatile, as it is the top main gun for light cruisers, and is also one of the top secondary guns for battleships. As you can see, I have some battleship stuff right here. Well, actually, they're not using it, but for instance, Warspite Retro is now using this Cleveland gun as their secondary. It is highly encouraged to get a couple, because you will use this Cleveland gun a lot. Now, you may be wondering, where can I get this Cleveland gun from? Well, you can get the Cleveland gun from Iron Blood boxes, obviously the purple and gold ones, because those are the ones that drop purple. You can also get them from 9.3 right here, Light in the Dark right here. And moving all the way back to 4.2 is the Cleveland gun once again. Now, as a nice commemorative goal, let's go and open a random Iron Blood box to see if I can get a Cleveland gun. Ta-da! We're gonna ignore that. So, back on topic, the next HE gun that is the best, because there is the best HE gun and the best AP gun. The Belfast gun is the best HE gun for a light cruiser. It is called the Belfast gun because of her skill that greatly benefits from using HE ammo. Let's go to Belfast real quick. Yep, this is definitely a better layout. I can find her super straight and fast. So anyway, she has this burn order skill that increases the damage with HE, so definitely she will benefit from using a HE main gun. Now going back to the Belfast gun, it has a slightly lower theoretical damage than the Cleveland gun. It is very, very solid, and it is gold, so it's less accessible, but it's also a strong secondary gun for battleships, as I have it on my Nagato, for example. You can get yourself a golden Belfast gun from the Sakura Empire boxes, as well as 6.2 and 8.3. 6.2. Nice. And 8.3. Very cool. And why not? Let's go and do a Sakura box too. Whoops. Okay. Well, we got the purple version that time, so I guess we're getting closer. But moving on to the next slot is the torpedo slot, or the secondary aux gun, depending on what ship you have. Now, most light cruisers have a torpedo slot, but some have a secondary gun, like all of the Cleveland sisters, and over here, Shapayev, for example, has a secondary auxiliary gun instead of a torpedo. Now, you could think of this as the opposite of heavy cruisers, as they mostly have a secondary aux gun, but some of them also have a torpedo. Now, obviously, if there is a torpedo, then the best in slot will be... Oh, let's go back. If it is a torpedo, the best in slot is obviously the Rainbow Magnet Torp right here from the past event, but if you do not have that, don't worry about it. You can also go with the quintuple 533mm for autoplay. You can get this from US boxes, Royal Navy boxes, Japanese boxes, and Stage 7-2. If you don't have this one, then you can also use this one, which is the quadruple 610mm. This is the greatest for manual play. It's got more damage and faster torpedoes, but it only has 4 instead of 5 when compared to the quintuple. Now you can find this quadruple 610mm in Japanese boxes, stages 6-4, 8-2, 10-4, 11-2, and 12-2. Now, if you have none of them, you can always use the Magnet Torps, for example, but I would not really recommend it because they usually have a slower reload time when compared, as we can compare right here. They have all these bad things like a slower reload time and lower damage. So if you're okay with trading off reload and damage for this tracking capability, because the Magnet Torpedoes kind of lock on to their targets, definitely use a Magnet Torpedo. You can find these in the Ironblood boxes. Now I'm giving a honorable mention to this gun right here. Well, not a gun. Well, actually it is a gun. Anyway, the quadruple 533mm torpedo, because it is actually this quintuple version, but it only is the quadruple version. Even though it is purple, it has the exact, almost the exact, actually no, it does have the exact damage as its gold counterpart. So it has the exact same stats, but it only has 4 torpedoes instead of 5. And the best part about it is that the reload time is actually decreased because of this. So this is actually a very good alternative, and you can find this in the US boxes, Royal Navy boxes, Japanese boxes, and Stage 5-2. Now moving on, if there is a secondary aux gun, like how Shapayev over here has it, then I would definitely just go with the same stuff as used for heavy cruisers, which, as a quick recap, the Russian gun right here is the best option, and tied with that on the same place is the Baguette gun that is from the Italian event, as you have corrected me from the last video. They are both definitely the best option, but then again, due to their limited rarity and amount, I would definitely suggest using it on a destroyer or on San Diego Retrofit, as I will cover later. Now, the much more accessible options, once again, are the twin 127mm, which you can find in the Eagle Union boxes, Stage 5-1, 8-1, 10-3, and 11-1, and the twin 100mm right here, which can be found in the JP boxes, 9-4 and 12-4. So now moving on quickly to the AA guns, we have this weird thing. But, as always, it will not really make too much of a difference unless you're in World 13, so go and pick any of these gold AA guns and you will be fine. If you have a purple gun, I would recommend using this one, the 127mm mounted AA gun, but once you do get a gold, definitely make sure that you're using it on your ship, because that will be the best. Obviously, one recommendation that I can always give to you guys is the Golden Roomba over here, which is once again found in the Royal Navy boxes, as well as Stage 7-2 and 11-4. Now, moving on to the last slot of the light cruisers, we have the aux gears. Now, this is a little bit different to the heavy cruisers because if they do have torpedoes, like Noshiro and Jinsu over here, the number 1 auxiliary gear is definitely going to go to the Type 93 Pure Oxygen Torpedo / the Rainbow Torpedo, or the Rainbow Dildo. it will always be the best choice for a light cruiser with a torpedo slot, as long as they have a reasonably good torpedo stat. Now, of course, there are some exceptions to some light cruisers with a poor torpedo efficiency, namely this girl right here, but we'll talk about her later. So basically, if they're a light cruiser that is not from the Sakura Empire, but for some reason also has torpedoes, then you should definitely equip them with more survival gear instead of this Type 93 oxygen torpedo, because their DPS will not be contributing much with their torpedoes. Now, next up on this auxiliary list is the repair tools, actually, because unlike their heavy cruiser counterparts, light cruisers have more evasion but less health. So this would mean that they would benefit a lot more, as you can see here, with that 500 extra HP boost, which is actually very, very good. It boosts their survivability by a lot. Now, moving on, if you have something else, or an anti-torpedo bulge lying around, definitely make sure that you can put this one on your light cruiser as well, because it is great for tanking torpedoes, and it helps a lot in the World 13 and World 12, because lessening torpedo damage is definitely good for the vanguards. Now, once again, if you do not have those, well, if you do have one of these lying around, you can always have the same stuff as the heavy cruisers, which is the high performance hydraulic steering gear. Boosting evasion is always good, and it also has that nice skill that can make everybody evade stuff for a little bit. And going on with that is the Beaver Squad tag, if I can find it, right here, and for the same purpose as the previous. Now you may be wondering, what about this one right here, the High Performance Air Radar? Well, it's for that very, very special ship that will be covered in a few seconds. Moving on to the exceptions category is, of course, the anti-air goddess herself, aka WATASHI WA NUMBA WAN, San Diego Retrofit in the flesh. Now, unlike any light cruiser, her main gun after Retrofit can now equip destroyer guns. So definitely make sure that you do that, because destroyer guns have a much higher DPS than their CL guns. Now, follow the same list as the regular best guns, so you would have the Baguette gun in first because of the HE damage, with a close second to the Russian gun right here, and then of course the twin 127mm, as well as, well, actually just don't use this one. That one's not good for a main gun because it's not HE. All the rest of them are amazing, and I'm definitely using this Baguette gun on her, and she shoots like an absolute machine gun. Now moving on to her torpedoes, she has very horrible, abysmal torpedo stat. They're sad pieces of plastic that some people even forget that she has them. She has lower torpedo efficiency at 135% when compared to other torpedo cruisers, such as Jinsu with a very nice 180, and Noshiro with a 175. Now you combine that with only 168 torpedo at level 120, when you compare that again to 402 for Jinsu and 373 for Noshiro, you can kind of tell why her torpedoes are kind of garbage. She doesn't even have half the torpedo stat as Noshiro or Jinsu. Now, to compensate for that, obviously, her anti-air is out of this world with a massive 559. Now, beating Reno in second place with only 479, she is definitely the best anti-air light cruiser in the entire game. So make sure that you're slapping on the best anti-air gun that you have for her. If you have the prototype 40mm Bofors, definitely make sure you're doing that, because it gives you an extra 45 anti-air and a little bit extra accuracy too. So for her aux gear, because I'm basically doing a whole ship review for San Diego at this point, she actually is very, very good with her high performance air radar, because since her anti-air is the shining, glimmering stat of her, boosting it by another 100 is actually completely amazing, and she will completely decimate World 13. She will make your job so much easier if you have her, and definitely recommend putting at least one of these awesome drones on her, just to boost her AA to complete meme levels of death and destruction. Of course, if you don't have it, you can follow the same aux gear rules as stated above, So you could do not put this on her. Do not put the Type 33 pre-oxygen torpedo. It's kind of a waste. She just doesn't do enough for a torpedo for that to be worth it. You could put this on, the high performance air radar. Well, not the air radar, the steering gear. And the rest of the stuff, the repair toolkit, and the torpedo bulge, and also the fire suppressor. I forgot to mention that. This is also always going to be good for any ship. Now with Sandy fully covered, this will mark the end of the Light Cruisers' equipment guide. As always, consider dropping a like and subscribing if you found this information helpful, and don't forget to press the bell for future uploads. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions for this video that need to be answered, or if you have any questions about the world in general. I will try my best to reply. The next equipment guide will be on the destroyers, so whip out your FBI watch list, and I'll see you guys around. Bye guys!